Hello, nerds! Welcome to Generally Nerdy. This is your Week in Nerdom TV edition for the week of March 26th, 2019. This week in TV news, we've got free stuff from the guys over at Sci-Fi for their Krypton show, a new trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, supernatural stuff. So much stuff is going on in TV news. We gotta hit the intro and then we'll get into it.
Quiet on the set, rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
Before we can jump into the news, we have to get to that sponsor. This week, just like the previous weeks this month, has been sponsored by this beautiful shirt right here. This shirt is going out to two of you beautiful nerds. All you have to do is follow the rules that are down in the description below. I'm teamed up with the guys over at punishshirt.com. They have a lot of really great t-shirts, really nerdy shirts over there. If you do not win, this shirt will be available to you for right about $20. And go support some local small business. They are based out of Utah, so they're not super local for me, but they are small business, right? They're trying to make a living just like everybody else. So punishshirt.com is where you can go check out a bunch of other really hilarious shirts, not just the one that sponsors this episode. But that being said, let's jump into the news. Coming out the gate swinging, Krypton over on Sci-Fi has their pilot episode on the website streaming for free. Link in the description. Go watch it. It's really good. Better than I was anticipating because, again, this is the channel that gave us Sharknado and Warehouse 13, which is really campy, and Eureka, which is also really campy and cheesy. So something of this caliber out of Sci-Fi was unexpected. And again, stream it live, link in the description. That's all I can say. Moving on. Next, we're doing reaction time to the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Be playing that trailer right about there. And, alright, so we already know they're screwing with the Turtles. They're not trying to hide that from us. So let's take that and kind of set that aside. Looking at this cartoon, looking at this trailer of this cartoon, you can watch with audio down in the description. I put a link. Would I watch this cartoon based off of this trailer, having no previous knowledge about the Ninja Turtles? Yeah, it looks like they're going to come into this with a solid mindset of making this show as appealing as possible, and not just appealing to the Nickelodeon's general target demographic, but also appealing to nerds like me, aside from the fact that they are changing some very key elements. The weapons, they're changing who the leader of the Turtles is, they're changing the age and ethnicity of their sidekick, April O'Neil. They're changing the abilities of the Turtles by giving them magical powers. They're changing the setting by making another city under New York City that is the land of magic for all we know. These are pretty key changes, but from the looks of this trailer, it's going to work. I really feel like they've got, aside from the power dynamic between Raph and Leo, I really feel like they have the attitudes of the Turtles correct. In spite of those weird descriptions that we got a few weeks ago, it seems like Mikey's still the party dude in a way. He's not quite as cowabunga as the last one, but he's still the youngest and he still acts as such. Raph looks still pretty hard-headed. in spite of being a leader now, so that changes his personality slightly, but not as much as I was anticipating when we initially got this update. And Leo is still pretty valiant. He's a little more free-willed this time around. And this is all conjecture. I've seen the same trailer you've seen, so it very well could go otherwise. But it looks like they're going to be establishing this show well and playing with these dynamics, possibly as a means to start writing other stories in the comics. I would venture a guess as far as to say that, but yeah, I dig it. I with some reservation. Like, I'm not gonna just outright say I'm gonna watch every episode. I'm gonna give this a season. Like, I'm easily gonna watch the first season. If it's unless it's absolutely atrocious in the first episode, then but I just don't see that as really happening. I don't see that as much of an option. So that's, I mean, take that with that what you will. We are gonna move on. And next on the list, we're talking about ScoobyNatural. And yes, I know everyone is talking about the ScoobyNatural crossover episode, which will be happening on the 29th of this month. So very soon, Thursday, which will be a couple days after this is posted. But still, there's the link to the trailer for that episode is in the description. Watch it. It's hilarious. I'd take a bullet for that dog is easily the standout line of this trailer. It's freaking hilarious. But that's not what we're talking about. We just talked about it. That's all it needs, because it's ScoobyNatural. So the thing that we're actually talking about is a new announcement from Entertainment Weekly that Dean is going to be possessed. Don't know if it's going to be angel or demon. My money says angel. Just based off of where the series is right now, what's happening in this season, I feel like they're going to, in the next couple episodes, run into another good angel, possibly in the Armageddon world, or Apocalypse world, or whatever they're calling it, that other world where their mom is. There's a quote from Jensen Ackles that was from Entertainment Weekly. I didn't read the magazine. I just got the blurb. Over the years, I've only ever had to just play Dean, whereas Jared has been Lucifer and Gadriel and all these different actual characters other than Sam. Dean never had to do that. He's only been Dean. The biggest stretch was Demon Dean, but it was still Dean. It was just the demon version of himself, which I always love because it makes my job easier. I can just play the character I know. That is all going to change soon. Something big is coming. So this season, it sounds like, and this is again total conjecture, but this season sounds like it's going to come to a head in the last few episodes over in the Armageddon world, or again Apocalypse world. I can't remember what they're calling it. Over there, it sounds like something major is going to happen. Maybe, and this is one that's just coming to me right now as I'm filming, maybe he's going to be possessed by the lead angel over there, and I can't remember what the angel's name is. But, like, maybe, because he's got their mom held hostage, so maybe that's who possesses Dean. That's the only way he can get their mom free, is if he lets the angel in. That, I mean, it sounds like we're coming to a head. There's going to be an epic battle after the possession. I feel like the possession's only going to last one episode. But yeah, that's as much as we can come to. I'm going to hand this over to you guys. I know there's a lot of ScoobyNatural fans out there. Let's talk about this one in the comments. Who is going to possess Dean, and why do you think that is going to be who it is? Let's talk about that down low, and we're going to kick on over to the next bit of news, which is Westworld. Westworld Season 2 is codenamed The Door, according to Jonathan Nolan. He also was talking to Entertainment Weekly. The first season they codenamed The Maze, which was obvious. So what could that imply about Season 2? There's also a blurb from Jonathan Nolan that Entertainment Weekly posted, and it as follows. If the first season was a journey inward, then this season is a journey outward. This is a search for what else is beyond the park and what else is in the park. Are there more parks? How big is the park? What's beyond the park? We think of our seasons as discrete components in the series, to the point where we've named our seasons. The first season was called The Maze, the second season is called The Door. So, again, the first season obviously was all about that maze that kept showing up. So, are we going to... what is the possible implication of it being codenamed The Door? And we already know there's more parks. So is there more than just the 2 parks? Very likely there's more than just the 2 parks. Is there more than... I mean, the film theorist, and I'll throw a link right about here. Film theorist did a fantastic video about where the park is possibly located, and spoiler alert for the video, you can go watch it, it's great. Film theorist is brilliant. His theory, and there are other online theories that support this, and there's people in message boards and such, his theory is that it's underwater. So what happens when they try to leave, when the robots, because the robots have no idea where they are. They think they're in the world normally, there's just walls around them to some degree. So if they are underwater, what does that imply? So just the world full of possibilities for this series. I really can't wait for season 2 to start, but that's all we got for that one. And we're kicking over to the next bit of news, which is going to make me sad because I have to start watching Gotham again. Gotham's back in the news. We got some leaked pictures from a couple of different sources. One of them, you'll see the watermarks in the pictures that I'm posting as they're cycling through up here. One of them is Cam Monahan's fan page. It's like a German fan page. They leaked them. You'll find a link to them in the description. I think it's just a Twitter account, so whatever. But still, they however they got these pictures, I don't know. But it looks like they're doing quasi Jack Napier, Tim Burton Joker ish, like an homage to him, it would seem. But these are definitely Joker pictures. It's hard to see for sure, but in one of the pictures, in one of the ones without the watermarking, if you blow it up, you can see his eyebrows appear to be green, and there's a little bit of his hair showing under the hat, which also appears to be green, and his skin is obviously pale white. So that's the Joker, man. Like, I don't know what other villain that could be. So that means I gotta start watching Gotham again. I've only missed a few episodes at this point because I had to catch up to see where we were and how annoying it was gonna be, and it's gonna be annoying. Yay. But Joker could save it. I honestly feel like if they do it right, the crazy, silly nonsense that is Gotham right now very well could be saved by a proper Joker to kind of put all of that silliness in check. But I don't think that's going to happen. But that's where we're going to end that one, and we're moving on down the road. Next up is Black Mirror. This is a real quick update. Netflix just announced that they have already begun filming season 5. So, when we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I said we might not, there is the slight possibility we won't see it until 2020. That does not appear to be the case. It looks like we are going to be on track, because they only do 6 episodes, right? So it looks like we're going to be on track for next year sometime with Black Mirror. So excited for that. But again, that was a real quick one. And next up, we have 2 left. Next on the list is Street Fighter. And I know I can hear... I mean, I haven't seen reactions to this yet because I only saw the news story from one of my sources. From actually like 5 of my sources. Everyone's talking about this. I have avoided fan reaction because I wanted to come into this as raw as possible. We're getting a live action Street Fighter series from Capcom. Capcom teamed up with a production company named Entertainment One. I printed this just literally after I found the bit, so I haven't looked up anything Entertainment One has done, so I don't know what to expect out of that. But we do know that the story A is still very much in development, so nothing is 100%. Capcom was the first to admit this. So nothing's 100%, but so far what we know is that their plan is to do the story from the game everybody knows, not just the hardcore gamers these days, but the one that everyone played back in the day, Super Street Fighter 2. That storyline, yes, there was an actual storyline. It was a little piecemeal, but it was still something that held it together. So we're not going to get a repeat of the 1990s Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter movie because, oh my god, was that horrible. But we are going to get, a fighting tournament held by M. Bison because he's a dictator, and so he needs to hold a tournament to it's almost Mortal Kombat-y, but not quite, because they're like physical people who just have strange abilities. But yeah, so one of the things that they put in their release was they were excited about the cast of characters because it is definitely a diverse cast and there are lots of strong females. So I don't know that they're necessarily going to be exclusively coming from Super Street Fighter 2 because if I remember right, there's only 2 females in that game, Cammy and Chun-Li. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cammy was introduced like in one of the later like Street Fighter 2 Alpha games or something, because Capcom doesn't just make Street Fighter 3 and then Street Fighter 4. They make 17 versions of the same game that are technically different games, just with similar artwork and a similar roster of characters. But whatever. I'm still excited. That's like so because it's so early in development, they have not begun shopping it around to networks or streaming services or anything like that. They have to get all of their pieces in place before they can do that, and they haven't got all their pieces in place. So as this develops, we will definitely be talking about it. And then our last bit of news is heartbreaking this week, guys. Absolutely heartbreaking. Deadpool on FX, the animated adult action series, which is like they're capitalizing on the fact that Venture Brothers is a cult hit. That's this and the Harley Quinn animated series are both doing that. There's no let's not beat around the bush, shall we? That's what it is. So for reference, go watch the Venture Brothers because it's the most funny animated show on television. But Deadpool was canceled. FX canceled it, citing creative differences with showrunner Donald Glover and his brother. I forget his brother's name, but still, I'm heartbroken. This sucks. Like, I was so looking forward to this, and now nothing. Thanks a lot, FX. You learned very well from your parent company, Fox, on how to let your fans down. And that, guys, is where we're ending this week's episode. What did I miss? What should we talk about next week? Definitely let me know in the comments down low, or you can go to the website, generallynerdy.net. You can continue the conversation over there, and while you're over there, you can find all the links to the social media, you can find the links to the stores, because I have shirts and merch for sale over on the website. You can get your very own Generally Nerdy t-shirts and some really funny stuff that I've put up there. My favorite right now is the Your Mom Thinks I'm Advertiser Friendly shirt, so there's that. If you don't need any t-shirts or mugs or any, I have leggings even up on there. If you don't need any of that stuff, then jump over to the Patreon. You can support the channel a little more directly. Patreon.com/generallynerdy is the place to do that. The tiers are all broken down for you. $1, $2, $5, $10. You can go check it out. Generally Nerdy on Patreon at patreon.com/generallynerdy. I almost forgot. I almost forgot. So sorry to interrupt the outro of this video, but we have 2 cons that we're gearing up for next month, Dink Denver and Starfest Denver, both of which are small nerd conventions. Dink is more art-oriented, is definitely more underground. It's part of their culture that they are the underground Comic-Con. There's also tattoo art and everything, so we are going to be doing a how-to Comic-Con video for Dink Denver, a couple of how-to Comic-Con videos for Dink, and we're going to be doing an adventure in photography video. So for that adventure in photography, I need some direction. What do you guys want to see as far as photography goes? Let me know in the comments. Jump over to the website, whatever. Definitely, let's do that. Let's talk about that. Already on the list is going to be some architecture photography because the building that it is in is beautiful. We're going to do some street style photography, so like crowds and just the different interesting stuff that's going on right on the floor of the convention. We'll definitely also get some artists images, and since there's tattoo art, then possibly going to be getting some tattoo pictures as well, though that's not technically on the checklist. It's just likely to happen. So Dink is that one. The other one is Starfest. There is cosplay, so I'm going to be doing cosplay photography for sure. If there's cosplay at Dink, I'll do that as well, but there's not usually cosplay at Dink. So we're going to be doing cosplay photography at Starfest. We're going to be doing vendor photography because they have very, very interesting and unique vendors. Not just the people, but the kind of stuff that they sell, I feel like is not as common at larger cons. So I very much appreciate that. So that's going in the photography page, in the adventure photography episode, I guess. And also some more street photography stuff, but they they also do an art show, so there's going to be like sculptures and stuff, so I'm going to see if I can't shoot some of that as well. And so that's what my checklist is for those two conventions. If you guys want to see something that is not on the checklist, something that I did not already talk about it with me right there in the comments or over on the website, generallynerdy.net. And now let's finish going through the end of this video. If you're new to the channel, please click that subscribe button. If you like this episode, click that like button. If you are falling behind on your nerd news and you want to catch up, then click or tap that box right there to the left of my face to do that. But before you go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.